In today's video, we are going to talk about Linux versus Windows. Well, for my Linux, I'll be using Ubuntu 22.04 LTS, and for my Windows, I'll be using Windows 10. So first of all, I'll start with the usage. Well, according to the latest data, hardly 1% of the PCs around the world uses Linux, and many users say that it is very hard to learn and use Linux as compared to the Windows. And Linux is very limited to household use. It is mostly meant for serious users, or you can say it is mostly meant for security purposes, server applications, and things like that. So in terms of usage, Windows has most users. I'll talk about the Windows users when I'll shift towards the Windows. Now, I'll talk about the security. Well, when it comes to security, Linux is based on the multi-user architecture, and that makes it more stable than a single user operating system like Windows operating system. And not only that, Linux is also a community driven with a regular monitoring by the developers. And developers are from every corner of the world. And because of that, Linux is more secure and it has more security for your data. And if you are a Linux user, you have an operating system with full guarantee that it will not spy on you. And having the Linux distribution or a Linux operating system means that the system is yours and yours alone. And you are the only one who can add or do anything with it. And because of that, people who are serious users, or you can say people who are into network securities, ethical hacking, and things like that, they prefer Linux. Well, if we talk about the file system, well, in Linux, everything gets stored in tree-like structure. On the other hand, Windows has some different phenomena. Now, I'll talk about the customization and different other features that Linux distributions offer. Well, this is my Ubuntu 22.04. Well, if I right click on my screen, from here I can do different things. For example, if I click on my display settings, it will take me to the settings of my system. Well, from here I can do different things like I can change background, I can have different appearance, I can set my system related to my notifications, and I can do a lot of things. But can we compare it with the Windows? No, because Windows offer you to do a lot of other things. Because in Windows, you can use third-party softwares, third-party tools to customize and tweak your desktop, your appearance, and your Windows as well. But that is not the case with Linux distribution. You have only limited customization that you can do. And because of that, a lot of people prefer to use Windows operating system. Now let's talk about the default application. If I just click on my show applications button, well, these are the default applications that we get. For example, we have LibreOffice that come by default. On the other hand, in Windows, we get Microsoft Office by default. Then we have some of the utilities, calculator, text editor, and in terms of our web browser, we get Mozilla Firefox. In Windows operating system, we do not get this. So I will just get out of this now, and now I'll talk about the flavors or the options in Linux distribution. Well, we have a lot of Linux distributions available out there. For example, we have Ubuntu, Fedora, Manjaro, Linux Mint, we have Pop OS, we have Garuda Linux, and we have many more. And not only that, you will find a Linux distribution as per your liking. For example, if you are into network security or ethical hacking, you will have a Linux distribution like Kali Linux or Parrot OS. And if you want to play games, for that purpose, you have separate Linux distributions. You have Pop OS, Garuda Linux, Dragon OS, etc. This is the luxury that we will not get in Windows operating system. Now, the most important aspect that I'm going to talk about is the usability. Well, Linux distributions are not easy to use because, let me open my terminal. Well, this is my terminal, and most of the work that we will do in our Linux distribution will be from here. If you want to create a directory, you will do it from here. You want to delete it, you will do it from here. You want to change the permission of any folder or of any file, you will do it from your terminal. Yes, there are some things that you can perform from the GUI. For example, if I right click on my desktop, from here I can do just limited things, and there are not a lot of options that I can do. I have to do more than 90% of my work from my terminal. And that is why a lot of people do not prefer to use Linux distributions. But we have already talked about the factors where Linux is way ahead than Windows, like security, your privacy, and performance. So that was all about the Linux distributions. Now I will get out of this and now I'll shift to my Windows 10 and let's talk about it. Well, this is my Windows 10. And first of all, I'll talk about the usability. Well, according to the latest data, around 93% of the world's PCs runs Windows because it is very easy to use and it's very user friendly. I'll talk about it in details. Now if we talk about the security of Windows operating system, well, Windows users has faced a lot of security and stability issues at some point in time. As Windows is an extensively used operating system, so the spammers, hackers, malware developers targets the Windows frequently. And as it covers a huge market, it is a very attractive marketplace for the hackers as well. And because of that, Windows is not as secure as Linux distribution. And there is one more factor, and that is Windows is not an open source operating system. And that makes it difficult for developers, or you can say for the security expert, to secure it. If we talk about the privacy, well, as compared to Linux, Windows operating system has less privacy because it uses different phenomena and different technologies, or you can say different method to spy on users. Well, it checks the behavior of users, what they are buying, what they are searching on the web, and what are their behaviors while they are using the Windows operating system. Now, if I talk about the file system, well, as in Linux, it uses the tree structure. In Windows operating system, we have drives, like as you can see, we have C drive, we have D drive, and this is how we store different things into our Windows operating system. Now I'll talk about the customization of Windows operating system. Well, if I just search for my settings, this is my settings, I will just open this one. Well, these are different things that I can perform. For example, if I click on my system, and from here, if I go to my display, I can do a lot of things in terms of my display. In terms of sound, I have a lot of options, and same goes for other categories here as well. And not only that, you can use third-party tools and third-party softwares to do a lot of customization as per your liking in your Windows operating system. Now, I'll talk about the default application. If I just click on my Start menu button, well, here I have different applications that come by default in my Windows operating system. For example, we have Microsoft Edge, we have Office, we have Photos, and we have many more things. And the good thing is, you can find any application for free onto the web for your Windows operating system. In Linux, yes, we do have applications available, but as compared to Windows, the number is very limited. Now I'll talk about the usability of my Windows operating system. Well, a lot of people love to use Windows operating system because it is very user friendly. For example, if I right click on my desktop, here I have different things that I can perform. For example, it is very self-explanatory. If I go to my view, I can change the icon size. If I go to sort, it will sort everything onto my desktop by its name, size, item type, and date modify. And not only that, for example, if I right click on my taskbar, these are different things that I can do with my taskbar in here. This type of customization is not available with Linux distribution. And as we had seen that in Linux, we had to do more than 90% of the work from the terminal, it is contrary here. In Windows, we do more than 95, or if I say more than 99% of the work from our mouse or an keyboard, it wouldn't be wrong. We do have command prompt available in our Windows as well, but we only do it for special purposes. For example, for some networking or doing some configuration, or you can say that we want to run some scripts, so we use our command prompt. But in majority of the cases, we do not need to use our command prompt. We can do everything from our mouse and our keyboard. And that shows that Windows is more user-friendly than Linux distribution. And that was all about the Windows operating system. And at the end, if I were to conclude, I would say that if you want more security and privacy, and if you want better performance, then you should go with Linux distribution. But in case if you want usability, customization, and freedom of using different things like games, different softwares, and you want to do different other things, then Windows operating system is the one for you. Other than that, it's all up to you that with which one you want to go. And that brings us to the end of today's video. I hope now that you must have liked this one. If that is the case, please leave a like, subscribe and press the bell icon. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care.